Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS.
Michigan had just one game this week. They had all week to prepare, knowing fully well that they'd only lost back-to-back games twice in the last 3 years. They're trying to bounce back from a setback to Wisconsin. But some games, as you well know, are bigger for fans, for players, and for coaches. That was the case for the Wolverines and the Spartans Sunday at Chrysler Center. John Beilein and his staff made sure the players remembered that.
There's a love in this room that we have to play for right now. There's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wonderful out there. But the love of the team right here, right, is going to be huge for us. And that's got to mean that that's going to give you energy. That's going to give you commitment more than them. I don't know what other teams are like. I know there's not a team that loves their teammates as much as this team. I know that this team is in such good, you like each other. It's one thing I say to everybody all the time. What do you think of your team? They love each other. And that's how you got to play with that in your heart today. I mean, it's really important you go after it with that. Appreciation. This is sort of funny because you got to understand, you practice hard every day. And you need to be grateful from that. But take that gratitude now and display it. Why, display it to yourself. Why do you come in here and have us put you through an hour and a half, 2 hours, 215 minutes of just nonstop? Why would you do that and now pay yourself back? It's like putting money in the bank and never cashing it out. You have an opportunity to do that today. Thank yourself for being so appreciative of what we have here. But just got to go out and use it, right? Your integrity. We know this is going to be a tough game. We know it, right? So don't cheat yourself. Don't say, well, this is, I can shortcut here or I can do this. Don't cheat yourself. Live the real deal. This is the real deal. Go after with every fiber in your body, everything that you have, because you know that's what it's about. Don't freaking lie. It's nothing but that. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. It's going to be loud. Embrace it, man, right? Don't run from it. And then finally, this is where we win the game. We outwork. We're going to outwork. We're going to outwork.
Do me a favor as you get an index card and a pen.
Ain't good.
Easy favor. Just sign that. That is your signature. That's your signature. When you put your signature on something, Karis, that's your name is behind it. That's your signature. Take a look at it. See, this is what you signed up for, G. So that's your signature right there. This is what you signed up for. When you signed up to wear that jersey, D-Walk, you signed up for this game. Okay? When you walk out on that court, there is a legacy. Every team that played here before you, Karis, is your brother. Every coach is your family. Every fan stands right there with you today in your mission to beat State. When you signed up, that's what you signed up for, right? And every time, hold your pen up, Max. Hold your pen up, everybody in the room. Every team gets to write a story, A-Dot. This is the pen you get to write your own story. This is a chapter today in your story that's going to be a pillar in the foundation of Michigan basketball. So you signed up for it. Appreciate your signatures. We'll collect them. But right now, today, just know you go out there. This is our home, John. This is our team. And this is the chapter of your story, D-Walk, you get to write. Yeah.
Michigan State took a page from Michigan's playbook, jumped on the Wolverines early behind Adrian Payne and Denzel Valentine, who combined for 13 of MSU's first 22 points, and State was able to build an 11-point lead. But the Wolverines responded with an 8-0 run with back-to-back threes from Spike Albrecht and Caris LeVert.
High right-handed dribble, hook pass. LeVert open for the corner. Got it! Back-to-back threes for Michigan.
Then there was a steal and a jam from Zach Irvin, and U of M was down just 22-19. It would teeter back and forth and fluctuate between 5 and 7 points over the next few minutes. Gary Harris went on a personal run toward the end of the half and made a tough baseline lay-in with time winding down. But Michigan never caved, finding a wide-open Caris LeVert in the corner just before the halftime buzzer.
LeVert in the front court. Clean look at a three. Got it! Caris LeVert took over the first half.
Michigan trailed by just 2 at the break, largely due to LeVert's game-high 14. The two heavyweights traded early blows in the second. Valentine continued his stellar all-around game that included a pretty look inside to Gavin Schilling before Michigan responded with a Walton pocket pass to Glenn Robinson.
crossover dribble, spins on Appling. Bounce pass for Robinson, who stuffs it through. What a gorgeous dish. Walton to Robinson, and Michigan's back to within 2.
Michigan later would go on an 8-0 run over a 3-minute span, and then Nick Stauskas started to take over with big 3 after big 3.
Stauskas with a left-handed dribble. He'll fire for 3. Give me that. Behind the back dribble. Now fires for 3. Oh, my! That was hot! And Michigan leads 59-52.
The Wolverines went on a 13-0 run, extended it to 21-4, and it wasn't just Stauskas with his shooting, but the way he got others involved.
Underhand toss to Stauskas with 8 to shoot. A bullet pass. Horford with an easy jam.
The Wolverines kept the pedal to the metal, pressuring MSU defensively and moving well without the basketball. See Stauskas' alley-oop to perhaps the most athletic player in the Big Ten.
Stauskas on a dribble drive, an alley-oop. Robinson. Oh! He caught it around the left side of his chest and then just stuffed it through.
U of M led it by 11. They would keep that cushion and slam the door on the closing moments, sweeping the Spartans in a 79-70 thriller.
It means a lot, especially because it put us in first place in the Big Ten, and that's one of our goals is to win the Big Ten. So it was a big win for us today.
Just the way we came together, everything didn't go perfectly, but we just fought all game long, and it was what this game has always been. It's always gonna be a battle, and it was great to pull that one out.
I had a lot of fun, as much fun as I had in a long time. You know, that's the whole environment, the fans. They said fans have been here since 4:30 a.m., so that's crazy to me. You know, we're excited, and we're just glad to go out there and get the victory.
When we come back, the man who has directed Michigan's ship over MSU has wins in 6 of the last 8 in the head-to-head meetings and 4 straight over the Spartans at Chrysler Center. John Beilein is with us after this. Michigan basketball, delivered by UPS, is brought to you in part by the University of Michigan, C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, and by Absol Pure Water, the official bottled water of the Michigan Wolverines. Well, the Seattle Seahawks used a 12th man for their Super Bowl championship. John Beilein of the Wolverines used a 6th man today. There's no question at Chrysler Center, the student section, and really the entire crowd was awesome. They were there early morning hours to root your team on against Michigan State.
What was amazing, Matt, is we got down early, and when we were down 11, and we hit a 3 to make it 8, like the place went crazy. Just that we were back, trying to get back in the game. Then we made another 3, and all of a sudden we're down by 5, and it was like we were winning by 5. So tremendous energy from our crowd, from everybody today. It was a huge, huge win for Michigan from the standpoint. People came here. They got up early. They were here at 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, right? And then they get to see a great game. So it keeps them coming back, keeps the energy.
It was a different feel than Wisconsin had an early lead on you last weekend. What was that difference?
Oh, I don't know. You know, we just came into that Wisconsin game and we'd beaten them at their place. And maybe I said after the Wisconsin game, I said, if this helps us beat Michigan State, then it's worth it all the way. If we'd beaten Wisconsin, maybe we don't win today. So those things always trade off. You can't even put your finger on it. Wisconsin's really good. Michigan State's really good. So as a result, we just got to keep working and ready for the next one. Because we got Purdue Wednesday. It will be charged up in there, and we got to go get them too.
How were you able to maneuver Nick Stauskas into better looks in the second half than what he saw in the first?
Well, he's got to be more aggressive. He really has to be more aggressive in what he does, and there's no secret about him. I was on him in practice yesterday, Matt, where he turned down open jump shots. I said, how are we going to do this in game if you don't shoot it right now? And so it's really important that he plays with swag, as I'm saying, with him and a couple of other players. Their shots we expect them to make that necessarily might not be good shots for other people. Just like you don't throw the ball into the post to Spike Albrecht. You know what I mean? There's shots that we see Nick make time and time again, he needs to take.
Although Albrecht had a really big 3 against the Spartans, and even though he doesn't contribute in that scoring column, there's so many guys who contribute in so many different ways. How important was it to have those 2 scorers, Caris LeVert in the first, Nick Stauskas in the second?
Well, just because they can't have Gary Harris guard everybody, and he's a great 2-way player. So when they were on Nick in the first half, it allowed Caris to go off. When they changed up a little bit after that, then it got Nick to be able to do some things. So we're just fortunate to have those guys, have Glenn running around getting his dunks and doing just his hustle plays. Great point guard play where we took care of the basketball. And then I can't say enough about John and Jordan Morgan. Those 2 big guys battled Adrian Payne tooth and nail all day long.
You know, it was interesting early on, your team's down 11, you look around the crowd and there's a lot of people just kind of scratching their head and their shoulders are dragging a little bit. Your guys really never did that. There was no finger pointing at any point.
There was no feeling sorry for ourselves today. I mean, no excuses. We just went out, we played with the passion that we need to have. We played with integrity. You know, one of our core values, integrity is mean you know this is going to be a hard game. Don't fool yourself. Go out and don't live a lie. Go out and get after it. And they certainly did it, and so it was a huge point for us to be able to just stay in there in that first half. The last 10 minutes of the first half were huge for us to be down close enough so that once we took the lead in the second half, we could get away from it.
And unity, another core value that you guys constantly preach. Right, you've beaten this team 6 out of the last 8, 4 straight at home. You sweep them this year. Does that tell me that you can beat just about anybody in the country? You played a really difficult schedule, Coach, and you've come out on top, and sometimes you've come out on the short end. What does this win tell you about this team?
Well, if we have everything clicking and everybody just plays to their best like that, we can do that. You know, the ball's got to bounce your way. You got to stay injury-free. You just got to be into the game every single time. But I think, Matt, without question, and we proved that today. If you can, Michigan State is 6-1 on the road. They're 6-1. Nobody's 6-1 on the road. I mean, it's maybe 5 teams are 6-1 on the road. They are a terrific road team. So beat them at their place or beat them here is a great win.
So after the win over MSU, John Beilein and the Wolverines are now 11-3 in conference play, but 4 games remaining. And I know you can't talk about Minnesota and Indiana at home or Illinois on the road, but you can discuss Purdue. It's a team that at times can be very dangerous with a big guy inside and some pretty good shooters from the outside.
No, home or away, you're in for a battle with Purdue. And they have a game today. Then they'll come back home, and they're just really good team always, but especially at home. And they got big men who will block shots, tough to get to the rim, and then they guard you now, Matt. They really guard you. So we're going to have to play really well against them. And frankly, with all of our 4 games down the stretch, as this league has shown this year, you just got to play well, or you're going home with a loss. That's just it.
Our Coffee with the Coach presented by Tim Hortons. Today's question is from Kevin in Jackson, Michigan. Last month, Derek Walton, Karis LeVert have stepped up their games to help Nick Stauskas, but teams seem to be defending Nick Stauskas a little differently. How does that affect your game plan as a head coach?
Well, I mean, a lot of our playbook surrounds around Nick Stauskas. We have different plays for everybody. So when we're dialing things up at the other end, you know, it's really important that Nick is assertive and that we also find ways as a coaching staff to not let a scouting report on him get in the way of running a play. So we have to disguise some things to show different formations just to get him the ball in his space. But once he gets the ball, then it's up to him. We got to give him good action, let him make good reads, but then leave it up to him.
Coach, good luck this week, especially Wednesday on the road.
Thanks very much, Matt.
Up next, the Al Rose Steel Ironman of the Week. Who is it? I'll give you a hint. He scored 44 in the 2 games against the Spartans this year in Michigan victories. Our Al Rose Steel Ironman of the Week had 19 points in the win in East Lansing against the Spartans earlier this year. He followed that up with a 25-point performance in Michigan's 9-point win at Chrysler Center. He is Nick Stauskas, and he is our Al Rose Steel Ironman of the Week. Congratulations, and what an effort, especially in the second half. There's a huge difference between your first half mindset and your second half mindset. What was it?
I was just trying to be as aggressive as I could. You know, they limited me to 3 shots in the first half, and I understood that in order for us to win this game, I was going to have to be extremely aggressive. And Coach ran a few plays for me, and, you know, as soon as you see the ball going a couple of times, you start getting more confidence, and the confidence led to being more aggressive.
We always talk about the maturation of players. Sometimes Nick Stauskas a year ago, when being held to 4 points in the first half and kind of beat up and scratched up defensively, may have, I don't know, sagged his shoulders a little bit.
Definitely.
That hasn't happened to you, has it?
You know, people always talk about, you know, how I've worked on my body and, you know, worked on my physical game, but I think I've done a lot of work mentally over this last year, and, you know, I feel like I've matured a lot.
How impressive of a win is this, even for you guys? I mean, this is a really good basketball team that you just swept, and you've now beaten them 6 out of the last 8. What does it tell you about your squad?
You know, it means a lot to us, you know, not just because of the rivalry, but just because, you know, with the standings the way they are right now, we understood this is an important game for us if we wanted to achieve our goal. So we got 4 games left, and, you know, we're excited for all 4 of them.
Some teams, when they're down 11, similar to what you did against Wisconsin, who has a long, tough uphill climb for you, and against a really good defensive club. What did you guys say to one another at halftime to try and make a difference?
Well, we understood this is a 40-minute game, and, you know, both teams are going to make runs at at certain times, and you just got to stay poised and stay your course. And I think that we did a really good job of that today.
You guys have said this all year long. Your defense triggers comebacks. What did you do differently in the second half defensively?
We kind of fed off the crowd's energy, and even though we were tired, it kind of, you get that adrenaline. You just keep going, keep running. So we did a good job of switching up between our 3-zone and our man-to-man, and I think that kind of kept them off balance for the majority of the game.
You talk a little bit about Caris LeVert and how he kept you guys in the first half. He was really good.
Man, he was spectacular in the first half, and he was doing everything. He was distributing, he was getting to the basket, hitting shots, and that's what we need from him.
Well, you were distributing too now. I mean, it's 7 times now this year you've had 5 assists or more. John Horford inside. You're feeding those big guys who are setting high screens for you. You got to make sure you're feeding the beast inside, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to take what the defense gives me, and if they're going to double team me on ball screens, then the big is going to be open down low.
Mindset the rest of the way is what? 2 road, 2 home.
Just stay our course and stick to our game plan. The coaches have done a real good job of giving us the plan of what we need to do, and I think if we just listen to them and work our hardest, I think we're going to be all right.
Congratulations, well earned.
Thank you very much.
The women's story is next, including a cool dip at the Big House. Stay with us.
Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
Welcome back to Inside Michigan Basketball. The women's team began the week in Bloomington, Indiana against the Hoosiers. Shannon Smith scored 8 of Michigan's first 10 points. She finished with a game-high 23 to lead the Wolverines. They outscored the Hoosiers 44-26 in the second half and went on to win their 9th road game in 10 trips. 4 Wolverines scored in double figures. Michigan beats Indiana for the 8th consecutive time. Iowa was at Chrysler Center on Saturday, and the Wolverines scored the game's first 13 points. But the Hawkeyes showed resolve, bouncing back big, and took a 16-point second-half lead. Michigan erased that deficit, took the lead back with 4 minutes to go, only to watch Iowa score 11 of the final 15 points of the game and earn a 74-70 roadkill at Chrysler Center against Michigan. Michigan now will close out the regular season campaign at Penn State on Saturday. Now, one of the big reasons for Michigan's success during the month of February is the play of Saisha Goree. She was recently named Big Ten Player of the Week, and Sarah Van Meter has her story.
In her first 2 seasons, Goree saw 35 minutes of court time in 12 games, and she scored 13 points. This season, Saisha has completely transformed her game. This month alone, Goree has scored 98 points and grabbed 61 rebounds.
I want coach to want to play me instead of have to play me. So the fact that I'm still in the gym all the time, working on my game, trying to take it to the next level, trying to understand it more mentally than physically.
Goree is in the best shape of her life and is comfortable and confident, and it's paying dividends for Michigan. And although she's averaging nearly 20 points per game in February, it's her desire to rebound the ball that gets her engine revving.
I just get such a rush. It's like chasing after the ball and actually grabbing it. Rebounding is like really key. I know it's really key to Coach Rico, so like I make that important to me as well.
There was an event held Saturday just next to Chrysler Center that was made for tough people like Saisha, but she was unable to attend due to Saturday's basketball game. The second annual Polar Plunge at the Big House took place to benefit Special Olympics of Michigan. The goal? Raise money to fund the nearly 20,000 Special Olympians in the state. And while the basketball players couldn't attend, the team was represented by Liz Rapella, the Assistant Director of Operations. After the parade of costumes, the plunge began, and Liz was one of the first to go since she had to get back to Chrysler for the Iowa game.
I think that was the toughest part, just waiting out there for, like 10 minutes with the introductions and then the national anthem, and then I was ready to go by the time I was up there to jump in. That was my first time. So I used to get in ice baths all the time as a college athlete, and I hated them.
Liz was one of 147 plungers.
We had a game today at 1:30, so I had already done my hair and my makeup, so I couldn't go under. It was too quick to even think, so I was there, and the person said, all right, go, and I didn't even think about it. I just jumped off, and it was freezing.
The judges seemed to have as much fun as the plungers. That's probably because they stayed dry. Nearly $135,000 was raised for Special Olympics of Michigan, and no cases of frostbite were reported. But Liz did ask for Monday off so she could defrost. For Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Sarah Van Meter.
All right, Sarah, thanks. We know at this showing of Inside Michigan Basketball, Michigan is all alone atop the Big Ten standings. Will it stay that way next time we come your way? You'll have to tune in to find out as we recap a road game at Purdue and a home game against Minnesota as John Beilein and the Wolverines look for season series sweeps against both. Until then, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week on Inside Michigan Basketball. Go Blue.